Kenny Omega is forced to apologize to Marko Stunt. Plus, we have some interesting developments over on AEW Dark concerning Taz's group. What's up, everybody? Eric here from That's Wrestling. Thanks for tuning in to today's News Wire. Let's just get into it. AEW Dark last night, we had an interesting development regarding Taz and Brian Cage. After the match of Darby Allin versus Robert Anthony, Brian Cage came out to attack Darby Allin. Robert Anthony tried to get involved, but was pulled out of the ring by Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks comes into the ring and hits a move on Darby Allin as well, and then fist bumps Brian Cage. Taz was on commentary. He said he's going to talk about this on Dynamite tonight. So, interesting, is Taz putting a group together now? That seems what might be happening. So, also on AEW Dark, Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler continue their losing ways, which is basically a mainstay over there on Dark these days, against Butcher and Blade. Also, the Jericho cruise that was scheduled for the beginning of 2021 has now been pushed to October 2021. So we'll see. Obviously, there is some news coming out about vaccines possibly showing in promise. So hopefully we can get a vaccine for the COVID virus that we are all dealing with right now, and everything can hopefully go back to normal in about a year or so. So hopefully that cruise will actually be able to take place. Plus, over on Being the Elite, a couple interesting things happened over there. One, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, was on the show. They're in a flashback segment, but it was not a contemporary flashback segment that was filmed back when it was supposedly to take place. It was filmed within the past week, and they were basically were supposed to be in Japan talking with the Young Bucks at a Wrestle Kingdom hotel, and Matt brings up that they want to start their own promotion in 3 or 4 years, something like 2019, and they're hoping to get on TNT. And then after they leave, the Good Brothers are like, that's never gonna happen. And then we're gonna ride this Bullet Club thing all the way to New York, which is making fun of them going to WWE, and then a little playfulness on them making the mistake of re-signing for WWE and not going to AEW. Very interesting, though, that they decided to sign with Impact, though they are going to be with New Japan as well. And in the Impact contract, basically New Japan will take precedence over Impact. So New Japan will at least get priority. So that's, I believe, a 2-year deal from what we've heard. So I guess we will not be seeing Good Brothers in AEW for at least 2 years, if ever. So that is where that stands. Also on Being the Elite, there was a segment where Kenny Omega and the Bucks were backstage. They're talking about how Kenny went off on Marko Stunt during their match on Dynamite and asked him to apologize. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy come in as well. So he's like, okay, where is he? They said he's in the trainer's room. He goes to apologize, and Marko Stunt is really sad about the whole thing because he looked up to Kenny Omega. And basically, at one point, he says, I always hear people say you should never meet your heroes. Kenny Omega's apologizing. Then after Kenny Omega goes out into the hall, he just says, never meet your heroes? What a pussy! And then just walks off. So basically, Kenny Omega is still, it looks like something is going to be happening with Kenny Omega. Being the Elite, he's been basically going crazy over there, and then we saw it come out on Dynamite last week, so we'll see how that plays out continuing on. And then, so we have tonight's card for Dynamite. We have the TNT Championship will be defended by Cody against a unnamed opponent, but they've said it's a quote-unquote top independent wrestler. We also have Hangman Page will be taking on number 5 from the Dark Order. Ivelisse will be facing DeMonte, so I believe that's the debut of both of them on Dynamite. And we have Young Bucks versus Butcher and Blade. That has been made into a Falls Count Anywhere match that was not announced last week, and it was announced later on in the past few days. We also have Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. We also have MJF is supposed to be in action as well. And Taz, of course, is going to be discussing whatever's going up with him and Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, plus Jon Moxley will be appearing on the show to talk about something as well. So this should be a very interesting night on Dynamite. So that is all I have for you this week. No, today. And I will see you again at some point. And thanks for tuning in to the Newswire on That's Wrestling. See you later, guys.